"Hello, handsome," she would say. Not today, though. Carter blinked a few times, confused, but also a bit mesmerized. She was auburn hair, lush and long. She was tanned skin, even now in the month of December, accessorized with a full-length mink that left little doubt that not much was worn underneath it. "You're not Betty," he said. "No," she replied, slinking up to his left ear and whispering in a Russian accent. "I'm better than Betty." 2. She breezed by him, planting a 3-inch stiletto heel in the middle of the foyer and turning around. Her jade green eyes shifted to his hand. "What are you drinking?" she asked. Carter glanced down as if reminding himself. Gin and tonic." "Boring. You have any tequila?" "That depends. You have a name?" She shook her head, playfully disappointed. "Do you always ask so many questions?" "That was only one." "One too many," she chided him. "Besides, Betty told me you like a little mystery." "So you and her are friends?" "Something like that. She had to travel somewhere last minute but thought you would like me." She dropped the mink just enough to expose the curve of her naked breasts, slightly larger than Betty's. "You do like me, don't you?" I think you're very pretty," said Carter, sounding way more like a schoolboy than he wanted to. He cleared his throat, dropping a half octave. "In fact, I'd say you're gorgeous." "Good," she said, pulling the mink back over her shoulders. "Now, how about that tequila?" Carter led her into the billiard room and straight to the bar. For sure he'd impress her with his knowledge of the blue agave aging process. "Reposado or añejo?" he asked. "Or maybe not." "Shut up and pour," she said. Carter grabbed a lowball glass, pouring a generous shot of Partida Elegante. No sooner had he handed it to her than she threw it back like a pro, so to speak. Then, without the slightest hesitation, she reached into his gin and tonic for the unused lime, sucking it dry. Plop. Back into his glass it went. "Would you like to help me out of my coat, Carter?" She turned around, the nape of her long neck and everything else about her inviting in Carter a horde of extremely impure thoughts. Clink, clink, clink went the roller coaster, climbing upward. Were it not for the other sound in Carter's head, his father's voice, that mink of hers would have already been on the floor, along with the both of them. "Cigars and women. The two things in life you always take your time with, son." That was on Carter's 11th birthday. Slowly, Carter reached around with both hands, feeling his way inside the front of her coat. He hated the music of John Mayer, not to mention John Mayer himself, but for the first time he sort of knew what the guy was getting at with his song, "Your Body is a Wonderland." This woman felt amazing. Her skin, soft as the mink. Of course, a young man can only be so patient. Carter's hands slid past her navel, his fingers tracing the edge of her lace panties. He would do a drive-by first, a little tour of the perimeter before delving in. Suddenly, he froze. What the? There was a bulge in those panties where there absolutely positively should not have been a bulge. Unless, of course, better than Betty was actually, Benny? Carter's hands snapped back. He nearly tripped over his own feet as he tried to pull away. When she spun around, the first thing he saw was her smile. Then came the second thing. He'd felt something hard, all right, and for a split second he was relieved to know that it was something other than what he thought. The next split second, he wasn't so sure. He could live with the crying game, but the snub-nosed single-action .38 now aimed at his chest? "Who are you?" asked Carter. "What do you want?" "Again with the questions," she said. "Fine, no questions. Just a knee-jerk offer."